what is Facebook doing here exactly?
Yeah, well, this is kind of an office expansion. So they're going to add about 100 employees in London. They're going to be working on WhatsApp. They're going to be working on payments and kind of some security features. But really the idea is that WhatsApp is such a global platform. It's used, it's huge in India, for example. It's really big in Europe. And so they think this is maybe a better recruiting ground for them and a good place for them to kind of launch this new payments initiative.
So how would the payments initiative work?
Well, right now it's just being tested, and it's actually only being tested in India. So we have not really seen a whole lot about it. But imagine, you're sending money to friends, you're sending money to family. You want to do that in a way that's obviously secure, but also convenient, right? And you're probably texting with these people, messaging with them. WhatsApp has those messaging conversations. If it can add a payments feature on top of that, I think they see there's a potential business there.
So, Julie, the other part of the story, Facebook working on launching its own cryptocurrency. How does that make sense?
Right, so I think this might be a way for them to do more cross-border, something that the team is exploring with David Marcus leading it, who, if folks don't remember, was the president of PayPal for a really long time. They're exploring cross-border with blockchain, and something that could actually work fairly well if you have other players coming into it. There's been rumors that maybe partner with someone like Visa, First Data, others, to have people actually use WhatsApp and this sort of Facebook coin or whatever they might call it to make payments or send money to family and friends in other countries. And having that as one stable currency versus having to go through all the FX conversion, lag time, stuff like that could actually be a good thing. But if you think back, this isn't the first time that Facebook has tried to make payments work, right? Like, there's a reason that they have to have really smart people on this team to even have a shot at being able to make something like this come off the ground, because there's other companies out there that are very competitive in this space, and payments is just cutthroat in general. So it is going to be a long shot, but they do have very smart people on this team, as our story talks about, working on this.
So let's talk about the team, Kurt. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg long ago hired David Marcus, the former CEO of PayPal, to run Messenger, and then he went off to work on this secretive payments cryptocurrency initiative. And he has, as we understand it, hired a bunch of former PayPal employees, sort of a new age PayPal mafia, even though I hate that term. Who are these people? Yeah,
well, Julie's actually the expert on the PayPal stuff. She had a great feature this morning on Bloomberg, kind of about who's being hired. But you can see that David is starting to bring over these people who he used to work with at PayPal, who are obviously payments experts, to say, to Julie's point, this is a really hard problem. Facebook has not nailed this. They have not been able to, establish, plant a flag, if you will, on the payment space. And so if you're going to do that, who do you want to bring over? You want to bring people who have built this stuff before.
So, Julie, we're not talking about Peter Thiel or Max Levchin or Elon Musk. Who are these former PayPal employees?
Right. It's going to be a lot of people that viewers haven't actually even heard of outside of David Marcus, but it's his former PR executive. It's people that were working a lot on peer-to-peer payments, on fraud protection, and a lot of things that Facebook is going to need deep industry knowledge on if they want to get this off the ground and actually make it work in terms of, getting mass adoption. A lot of consumers to trust using this after a rough, year and a half for Facebook in terms of just waning consumer trust in the platform, and then protecting against fraud as well. This is something that people might want to hack into, misuse, things like that, that they know going into it they're going to have to protect against.
So, Kurt, how does this fit into the broader strategy and the broader challenges that Facebook is facing in general right now?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is an advertising business, right? I mean, I think it's 99% of their revenue comes from one business model, which is they show people targeted ads. So this is definitely a new opportunity for them. There's been a lot of talk about, should Facebook diversify that business? Where can it diversify that business? And the idea of payments is really compelling, not only because it is a global feature that people are using all around the world, but there's also some untapped potential for them there in the sense of this is not something they're currently taking advantage of. And so I think there is a lot of hope from some investors that Facebook can figure out, what does the company do that's not just advertising?